One of the biggest things I have that questions that people come up and ask me is, if you can get your income taxes to zero and do it consistently, it's got to be illegal. I mean, I hear this all the time. This was an article that I wanted to bring out to you. It came out and it was talking about these multinational companies that they're just making billions of dollars, and it gave actually the one that was abusing this the most, and it's perfectly legal. I wanted to read this, just pieces of this article out. It came out in Business Insider, and it talked about Champions League of Tax Avoidance was the company Uber. They used 50 Dutch shell companies. Listen to this: 50 Dutch shell companies to dodge taxes on nearly $6 billion in revenue, the report stated. Now, if anybody, this is a good example of how to use smartness to get your taxes to zero. Now, you actually have a lot more flexibility being an individual and dodging and getting your taxes down lower than these big companies, because now Biden and other country heads are trying to put a lid on this and have a minimum tax around 20% or thereabouts on these multinational companies to make them pay higher taxes. But as an individual, you don't have to deal with this, because if you relinquish your U.S. citizenship, you're no longer part of the U.S., so you can move wherever country you want and then pick your taxation based on where you move, whereas these multinational companies can't do that. They have to depend on using tax strategies as long as they last. But once they come to an end, you're going to have a problem there, because they'd have to literally take the company and move it somewhere else where it might not be advantageous then to make money. So you have a lot of advantages being an individual that these multinationals don't have. But I wanted to show you something about this article, because it talked about literally how a company can make literally billions and billions of dollars and literally pay nothing in tax. Uber used around, like I said, 50 Dutch shell companies to help reduce its global tax burden, an Australian research group found. Despite earning $5.8 billion in global revenues, listen to this, $5.8 billion in revenues in 2019, Uber claimed a $4.5 billion loss for tax purposes. One researcher called Uber's alleged scheme the Champions League of Tax Avoidance. I'm going to show you in this video, I'm going to show you how they actually did this and show you if they can do it. It's actually easier for an individual to do it than a big company like this. But anybody can get their taxes to zero. And if you want to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, that's even better. That gives you the ultimate freedom. And if you want to know more on this too, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit that top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions. Hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. We'll get back with you. You need to be making at least $150,000 a year and or have a net worth at least $1 million US to work with us. And also would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen here and the notification bell next to that subscribe button, and you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. All right, now it talked about here that Uber has been using a complex tax shelter involving around 50 Dutch shell companies to reduce its global tax bill, according to the recent research from the Center for International Corporate Tax Accountability and Research. In 2019, again, Uber claimed $4.5 billion in global operating losses, excluding U.S. and China, for tax purposes. In reality, it brought in $5.8 billion in operating revenue, according to SICTAR, an Australian-based research group. Now, Uber had previously disclosed details about its Dutch tax haven in 2019 when it moved its intellectual property from Bermuda to the Netherlands. See, every time they try to close one loophole, these corporations just find another opening somewhere. So it's very difficult. They just keep popping up somewhere else. But it went on to say that SICTAR's research sheds more light on how the company has structured its network of shell companies. Now, this is the Champion League of Tax Avoidance. SICTAR principal analyst Jason Ward told Dutch news magazine De Groene Amsterdammer. Uber did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the story. I'm sure they don't want to be talking about this too much. Uber transferred its intellectual property through a $16 billion loan from one of its subsidiaries in Singapore that in turn owns one of Uber's Dutch shell companies, a maneuver that grants the company a $1 billion tax break every year for the next 20 years, the researchers found. Now, Uber has supercharged their tax avoidance approach. Ward told Insider using an intellectual property tax break to prevent future tax bills, turning into much more useful, viable tax structure in the Netherlands. Now, Siktar also found several of Uber's Dutch subsidiaries had submitted mandatory financial reports, and in India, Uber paid less than a third of the 6% tax that the country imposes on multinational companies, according to the report. India is in desperate need of public repair or revenue to help it combat the COVID-19, yet companies like Uber are able to avoid contributing to that effort through tax avoidance schemes, Ward told Insider. And in Australia, TikTok had found that Uber was underpaying its tax bill by 30.5 million US dollars or 39 million Australian dollars, according to Groen Amsterdammer. Uber's sophisticated efforts to achieve little or no tax burden on multinational multi-million dollar global revenues highlights a long-standing challenge governments face in enforcing tax compliance among wealthy corporations and individuals across borders. In response, some lawmakers around the world, including the U.S. President Joe Biden, have lobbied for a minimum tax for global tax on companies and other measures to reduce tax avoidance, which the Tax Justice Network estimates costs governments $427 billion annually. Folks, if these companies can do it, and it's a lot easier for you to do it, because all you got to do is move. They can't move. All they can do is depend on subsidiaries, but those could be overturned by Congress. But you being a sovereign person, you can relinquish your U.S. citizenship, leave Australia, these high tax countries, and you can go to where the taxes are low. So you've got a lot more flexibility than these countries do, these big companies. Anyway, if you want to learn more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit that top bar that says apply with us. Fill out those questions. Hit the bottom bar that says send it to us. We'll get with you. If you want to legally get your income taxes to zero or how to get a second passport in 45 days, we can do it for you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You'll get these new videos as they come out automatically, and that notification bell next to that subscribe button. And I would like to hear from you if you got a question or comment. Just put it below and I'll get back with you. I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.